Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So, talking about, the characters that need to be changed. Realistically, we look at most of the character base and yeah, a lot of them get used a lot. Like everybody has their use case, everybody can be fitted in some kind of team. Let's look at Renoa, Nia, then you could fit in somebody like a Cassius. Cassius has been popping off with popularity, and he's been kind of fitting in anywhere, especially with the skyrocketing of Tressa and Serenial. All the zero cost cards, pop, pop, pop. He's about to get nerfed into the ground, but he's not who we're talking about. The first character I'm going to be talking about is going to be my boy Lucas. I got him maxed out Manifest Decode. Been playing with him, checking him out. He has potential to do something, but his cards at a base are just bad. Realistically, he is just a pure support for Luke, and no one else. I just wish he did a little bit more damage so he could be a proper sub DPS instead of just a sub supporter DPS. Because I got him to where the extended mags is free, or every launcher bullet is free after using extended mags. Pretty cool, free card, extra damage, some AoE damage, right? I wanted to use them. So first of all, let me just talk about this. First of all, the RPG 50% fixed damage to just one person. Or to everybody, I forget what it was. Either way, even if it was to everybody, that is such a minuscule amount. I'm pretty sure there are pieces of equipment that do more fixed damage on just everything. Not just bullet card exhaust, but all exhaust. Crazy amounts of, wow, what an ultimate card. I can tickle him to death. Come on. If not that, his only real good card, in my opinion, is probably Flashbang. The AoE 2 weakened, the extra damage towards a shield is all right. The upgrades are pretty good. There's this one where you can have retained passion weakness to everybody. You can mark everybody, pretty cool. But realistically, you want to try and keep the weaken because that's pretty good survivability. He doesn't have a super heavy mark deck. So going with mark is pretty meh. The biggest letdown though, the biggest letdown in cards has got to be Flamethrower. It is a negative value card. It not only is overpriced at 2 points, 2 energy costs for this card, but you're getting rid of 2 cards. You're getting rid of the main card, you're drawing a card and discarding a card. So you're down 2 cards to get 1. Math doesn't math. This one, it's actually discarding 2 cards, creating a launcher bullet for the number of discarded cards. So you create 2 launcher bullets. But even then, each launcher bullet is going to cost 1 at minimum. Because you only get 1 free one if you have him completely duped out. You only get 1 free launcher bullet. If you already have the power activated, these 2 are just going to cost nothing. So granted, you can kind of... It's just the launcher bullet thing. The launcher bullet's costing 1 all the time except for 1. It just does not feel good. It does not vibe. You have to have an immense amount of AP regen to try and do anything. And then there's some that don't even do the draw. It feels like a mess. It feels like they're just throwing random things at the character. The extended mags is pretty alright. I love the different bullets. I love the base idea of the different bullets, like weakening, impair, having all these different random effects. It feels so cool, but making them cost 1 I feel like ruins the whole thing. I think they were maybe too afraid of Luke and Lucas having too many synergies, but who cares? I mean, especially when you have Cassius and Tressa and Serenial throwing out a million cards a turn, let them do it too. Especially because you have to have a 5-star to do both of them. I haven't gotten lucky to pull him. I've gotten 5 other 5-stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've gotten 9 5-stars. Couple dupes. So I've gotten a lot of characters. Still haven't gotten Luke. So the main person he's supposed to be supporting, I don't have. Therefore, why would I pick anyone else over him? Or pick him over anyone else? Said that wrong, but like I have Veronica, great character. I have Ray, also great character. Cassius. You know, I got Nia, I got Beryl, I got Mia. All these characters outweigh him immensely. He needs some kind of revamp or something to that effect to make them useful. Another character that they really kind of, need to work at and like figure out what is going on is Owen. I know Owen's been having a lot of drama, but story relations aside, his kit just kind of sucks. He really feels like, now that we have a couple characters out, he just feels like a worse Yuki. I mean, he's adding extra hits. Well, cool. He wants to, pull his cards in. He can, bring in win charge and move 2 own cards. That's basically the same thing, except with shield. He's really trying to be the epitome of Jack of all trades, master of none. But even then, he just has like these 2-cost cards. Don't feel really worth it. As an ultimate 300 damage and 1 shield, or 130 shield, like that's cool. But again, I just don't feel like it's worth it. He feels like he's supposed to be a shielder sub DPS, but then again, he feels like he's trying to take the show. He just needs some changes to make him something, because nobody talks about him, nobody uses him. He needs some kind of glow up, some kind of like bring him into the spotlight moment. So, people, all the characters can be somewhat viable, because in this game, you're supposed to be able to make all these different combinations and this, that, and the other, but these people especially feel excluded. I mean, I like the idea that they're trying to do with vulnerable. This one feels a little odd place to have 4 fortitude. I guess that's to make him only pure shielding, but the vulnerable feels very nice. Now, the extra hits on this one, again, a bit weird. I'd probably go with the upgrade, but still, it just doesn't feel right. People trying to defend him, you're like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. Let me know if you guys feel the same way. It just doesn't feel like they put enough time into these characters. Like, it feels like they put cohesion in the Maribel. They definitely put cohesion in the Tressa, considering she's one of the most popular characters. He doesn't feel useful. He doesn't feel great as a great support, a great DPS. He doesn't even like feel great to have him as a Vanguard in any way. He just feels bad in every way. Now, the big one that I want to talk about, that everybody has been talking about, even the developers, is Orlea. Now, Orlea, I love this character. I love the idea of this character. And when the game first came out, I was making videos. My ideal team was Orlea, Kayron, and Felipe. Because in my idea, Kayron has some big damage cards, or big cost cards, so he was going to activate the Vulture Rejections. The cards for him, the Brand of Annihilation was going to trigger on exhaust cards, and she exhausts a bunch of cards. I had this whole thing going. But once I put it into, practice, it just didn't feel right. One of the reasons were, I didn't have a lot of draw. Plus, Orlea as a whole just felt weaker than the other two. Now, granted, my idea wasn't that great to begin with, but I feel like a couple of her cards just don't feel right. Like Growing Creature, if you use it, you get 1-star creations, which is kind of crap, considering when you can get the Sacred Censer, get the 2-star initiation lead, get the Pyramid to make it cost for free, and then you get a 1-star creation every turn anyway for free. This just doesn't feel good. Then you can retain it. The only good one, in my opinion, is the Softy Vulnerable, and that only happens once because it turns into a Softy, and then you either use it or you keep it, and then you can't really do much else. The main thing that I think you want to have her as is a vulnerability engine. You want to have some Softies in the deck, then you want to use Growth Acceleration, and if it's used on a Softy right here, give 2 vulnerable to all enemies. You kind of want to, keep that going. Get a couple copies of this, get some Softies going. You got a bunch of vulnerability going on like crazy. But as a support, as a DPS, annoying feels very annoying to have in the deck because every one of them just feel bad to have. She doesn't heal that much. She doesn't do a lot of damage. Even when you try and build her for damage, the damage feels like a wet noodle. Then if you want to get to actual damage numbers, you need about 100 turns before she even does anything even comparable to somebody that can do something on turn 1. Like Serenial, for example. Turn 1, you can blast and just destroy bosses out the gate. Instead of waiting, 5-6 turns to get a Swifty going. Maybe get some annoying stacking if you want to go for the retain, reduce the cost, do 5 that, or retain 100% extra damage. It just doesn't feel like it's worth it. Why am I going to sit there for 5 hours to build up 1 card to kill an enemy when I could just do it with a real damage dealer? So building her as a support feels like the only way to do it. And as a support, she feels like she's lacking. I feel like these need to have some kind of draw option, some kind of extra to it. Because just having damage on these or just having a little bit of healing just doesn't feel right. As a support, she needs some kind of either draw engine. She needs some kind of maybe AP generation. Maybe something that Mia does, where you build a couple stacks, then you get some random buff or some random thing for it, because her whole thing is about creation. So create energy, create a buff here, create a buff there, or something like that, or create debuffs on the enemy. Make that more of her the point of her engine, instead of just I make these cards and I do maybe something, maybe buff, maybe this. But mainly these 2 cards need to get fixed. Will of Light, okay, it's a big heal, activates retain, does a whole big wide thing about it. But mainly Growing Creature, annoying, need to get something fixed about them, because these feel like dead cards. You really, all you need is Sacred Censer with the power and Growth Acceleration. That's pretty much the whole deck you need or want out of her. But those are the 3 characters that I want to talk about. I really feel like they need some extra love, need some extra attention, and develop a true identity to make it so they're usable, viable, that you would want to use them instead of just them being benched on the sidelines. But let me know if you guys think somebody else needs a little bit more love than these 3 characters, or if you think I'm just insane and they should be left in the dust. But thank you all for watching. I truly appreciate it. Have a good one, and peace.